What's up everyone? In this video we are talking about the retro video game market and how some people think that it is going to burst the bubble. However, I do not think that is going to happen at all, and here's a few reasons why. We're going to talk about it a little bit and just kind of dive right into it. I want to say first off that retro gaming is still huge. Now, I started retro gaming probably 2007, 2008. That's when I started really collecting. I played old games before that, but I kind of fell out of gaming and then I got back in, and so it's been maybe 12 years. I'm thinking it might be closer to 10, but my numbers aren't exact because really that doesn't matter. I didn't really straight up start collecting big time until a little bit later on, but that was when I was first getting back into it and playing some games, playing with my friends and stuff like that. But I will say this, people in about 2015, I want to say, people started saying, oh, the bubble, it's a bubble, look at the bubble, and they were like, hey, this thing's gonna crash, and I was like, what? Like seriously, people started saying it was gonna crash right away, and I was like, there is no way. Now, here is why I did not think it was gonna happen, and here's why some kind of reasons that led me to where I am today. Now, a lot of people were doing NES and SNES games and hitting them hard around that time, and you might be able to say the bubble kind of settled down. I wouldn't say it burst or anything, but I think it just deflated just a little bit on NES and SNES games, but I think that air moved other places. If you can see, I have a Nintendo 64. Over here, I've got a Nintendo 64 with a bunch of games just laying out because I play them a lot. And over here I've got a bunch of controllers and stuff you can't see, but all of it is Nintendo 64 or GameCube, which means people are now shifting from the NES, which is awesome, the SNES, awesome, to the Nintendo 64. Don't tell everyone, please. I don't want it to like get out and people to know. But the Nintendo 64 is where everyone is right now. Those games are skyrocketing, and it is actually kind of hard to find them around my area. I used to have problems finding GameCube games. Now it's Nintendo 64 and GameCube, which makes sense because honestly, the people, whenever the 64 came out in 1996, like, I was 4 years old when it came out, but now I have enough money to buy the stuff that I want and play the stuff that I want, and there are tons of people that I know that I don't even know game very much, but they're like, hey, I want to pick up a Nintendo 64, I want to play Mario Kart 64, I want to play Mario or Super Mario 64, things like that, Banjo-Kazooie. I'm just thinking of games that people are like, yeah, I remember playing that when I was a kid. Donkey Kong 64. There's a ton of great games. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And people are like, hey, I'll throw down 50 bucks, pick up a system, and maybe throw down another 100 and get a bunch of games and have a lot of fun. Especially because multiplayer that is local is kind of going away in current generations, which means the Nintendo 64 is a great system right now, and people are buying it, and it looks like it is doing really well. But that does not mean the bubble has burst. I say that because there are still games that are stupid expensive. Like, I've got some NES games up here. You probably know I got a little Samson, and yes, the value may have shifted down a little bit, but it's still worth a lot of money, and people pay a lot of money for these things. I've got 2 sealed NES boxes up there. Sealed. I'm not bragging, I'm just using them as good examples. those things still go for like $250, $300. Maybe more depending on who you're talking to. But there are games that are old that are still worth it. Now, when I say the bubble burst, I would say if the bubble was to burst, we would see NES games and SNES games selling for Atari prices. Which, for me, when I see Atari, and nothing's wrong with Atari 2600 games. I like it, I have fun. I actually don't have my games displayed on the shelf because whenever I first lived in this house, I had a different setup, and I actually have like this kind of armoire that has a drawer that I pull out, and there's literally like 100 or 200 Atari 2600 games. So like, I still love the system and stuff. It's just, every time I see a game, I'm like, if it's over $2, maybe $5, I'm not picking it up. I see boxed ones, boxed games for over 10, I'm like, no. But NES games, my limit is much more. It's $5 to $10 instead of $1 to $2, which means that the bubble has not burst, and it probably won't for a while. And here's another great example why. And games are now being made more digitally, which means going and picking up a game. Just reviewed Rad Rodgers. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. You're not going to get this in the next generation or two, I feel. You're not going to be able to get a case with a manual. You almost can't get that now. And have some artwork that looks great. But what you can do is go to a store and pick up Toe Jam and Earl. Mario Golf. And one of my favorites, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. You're just not going to be able to find those. And it's a very, very sad thing because those are going to be the way of the future, I see. People are going to have the PS5 that's only digital. May not be the PS5, just as an example. It may be all digital, and then people are going to be like, okay, 10 years later, they're going to be like, oh, I want to go back and play that game. Well, if Sony's servers are down, they're going to be out of luck. But with those cartridges, if you have the cartridge and you have a system that still works, you can play those. Like, I literally have this set up here in my game room so I can play these games. Friday nights are spent right here playing those games, and there is a reason for that. Because they are so much fun. I love going, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but I have Gauntlet Legends over here, and honestly, it was a ton of fun, and I had a blast playing it, and I've been playing other games. You can probably see the stacks. I always leave them out because I'm like, oh, I'll play that game a little bit more, but what I'm saying is that cartridge-based games are going to stick around. People are going to still want to randomly play their Mario Kart 64, Super Mario. There are a ton of great games, and I want you to know that these things are awesome. I love those cases for my Nintendo 64 boxes. Perfect thing. But what I'm saying is people are still going to want to grab this and play it in 10, 15 years. Especially if people are my age now. I'm going to want to play this in 20 years. I'm going to want to teach my kids how to play this, and probably my grandkids. And that's something that's crazy to think about, but it's very true because, honestly, the system's still going to work. The games are still going to be available, but people are going to run out of other things. And so when I say the bubble is not bursting, it's only shifting, I think that's only because of games and the way that gaming is going. Digital is more prevalent and it gets the developers more money. However, it takes away from that fun. You don't get to take the case, open it up, take the disc out, put it in the system. Or you don't get to, I'm talking about this soon on the channel, DuckTales. You don't get to go and put it in your NES. People say don't do that. I don't care, I've been doing it for 20 years. So, like I said, the bubble's not bursting, and people that say that are very much mistaken. So, make sure that if you are told this, you can be able to say, hey, I think you're wrong, and here's why. So, I wanted to do this video because honestly, I was thinking people, and I'm flipping through YouTube and stuff, and I see people talking bad about it. I instantly think, I gotta go make a video about this. I'm gonna be passionate about it and let my audience, you guys, know that this is still a thing and here's why. So whatever you think, comment down below. Make sure you use that comment section and talk, make the community grow here, and let people know what you think about it. If you're wrong and you think different than me, that's cool. I'm joking when I say if you're wrong, but I know that people have different opinions. Just be civil about it and have fun, because that's what gaming is. It's about having fun. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, comment, whatever you want to do, go ahead and do it. But most importantly, have a good day.